Hello.
Hello.
Wow. Welcome.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness. This is part 4 of our One Piece saga to Alabasta.
Part 4 of the
Alabasta part
Alabasta
4.
saga. It's like the 6th
of
episode.
One Piece. Yeah, something like that. You know, of the NgoVo Convo podcast where two stupids make a right? Hype?
No, it's hype.
It's
That's
hype.
right.
It's hype today because I'm right about being at hype.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Veronica Vo. I'm joined by Harrison No. He's to my left. I'm to his right. We're waving.
Hello.
If you're on YouTube.
Check it out.
Check it out. If you're new here, we both just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics. But also, we have a never-ending backlog. This is Harrison's never-ending backlog, One Piece, so we're catching him up.
If you hear sirens, that's on my side.
I don't hear anything.
Not yours.
Now I hear stuff, yeah. Some would say this would be conversing. Wow,
NgoVo
like...
Convo?
Yeah.
NgoVo Convo?
Oh my gosh.
Spoke right there.
Wow.
If you're on YouTube, it's the logo right there. Oh. Yeah.
You can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. Logos above Harrison's head, per usual. On your podcast service of choice. We're on 10 different platforms.
And more.
And 10 plus.
10 plus.
And as usual in these One Piece episodes, we're going to be talking about the Alabasta, the last part. So Alabasta Saga.
The actual Alabasta arc.
The actual Alabasta part. And if you have been following along, we're actually reading the manga, not watching it. So this will be chapters 155 to 217. But yeah.
But the anime episodes is 92 to 130.
Wow, you're so ready. So ready. If you're actually catching up with Harrison, join us. And if you're just rereading, rewatching like me, join us.
Have fun.
Yeah. I can't say you need to come back in a day or two because One Piece is an actual commitment.
I mean, I did read this entire arc and
you watched it,
hours.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it recently, but yes, this was the last thing I watched for sure that I know of.
Yeah. But you are right, reading wise, you can catch up in a couple hours, but like, you know.
Watching, it'll be a bit. 39 episodes? 40 episodes? Yeah.
Yeah. Harrison, congrats. You made it 10% into One Piece. That's a sad number to be quite
Well, is it
fair.
10% now?
Well, I feel like it's about to be 15.
No, because it's 200 chapters.
Oh yeah, you're right. And now we're at like 1,000, like
it's
70.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
5.
I forget. It keeps
74.
going.
It keeps going. Yeah. So technically, you might still be in the 10 to 15%. I don't know. I'll do the math later. Harrison.
Yes.
Who you
are
met?
Are we just going spoilers right away? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making
We
sure.
usually do just go into spoilers.
I forget on this one. It's weird.
Because I mean, we don't really need to do non-spoiler thoughts. Just go right into it.
You're right.
You know,
It's
commit.
You're right.
Like how One Piece is a commitment. We're committing to spoiler thoughts.
Yes.
But Harrison, you've met
a lot of people.
Yes, but you've met one of my favorite characters, one of your wife's favorite characters.
Not just one. It is her.
It is her favorite.
It is her favorite character.
Yeah.
At this point.
I wonder who you've met. Is it his name?
I want to say it, but I won't. Okay. So, yes, I've met Ace.
You've met Ace, yes.
Luffy's older brother.
Yes.
Actually pretty cool.
They reunited, finally.
They're reunited. And he's like...
On accident, too.
On accident. well... on accident.
It was on accident on Luffy's part, but on Ace's part, it was not on accident. Like, he did that on purpose, but... for Luffy to find him at the bar.
Right. Because at the end of the last arc, Ace wanted to tell people, the people on Drum Island to go, or he was there already,
Luffy,
but to tell Luffy to meet him at Alabasta or wherever, that port or some shit.
Yeah, but Ace, you finally figure out why he's going there. Are you... With Blackbeard, are you like there was only like one panel about what happened, How
Yes.
interested are you in Blackbeard now?
Dude, I have so many questions. So just for clarity. For clarity, Ace is under. So we've been introduced to, or they've introduced Whitebeard and Blackbeard. Not showing them or anything, but they just name dropped them.
Yeah. So Ace is the second commander of the Whitebeard crew. That's all you know. That's all. Well,
yes.
You know.
Well,
so
that's
far.
all they said. Yeah.
That's all they've said. Blackbeard was a crewmate under Whitebeard, but
I thought it was under Ace specifically.
Technically, yeah.
Okay.
Ace and then White. Yeah. But I mean, you get they're all in the same crew.
But they're all under Whitebeard. Yes.
But Blackbeard killed a crewmate, and there's just certain things you can't do as like a pirate. That's one of them. That's like pretty taboo, especially in the One Piece world, like killing a crewmate.
Yep.
So he killed a crewmate, left Whitebeard crew, and now Ace is trying to find him, trying to find the homie.
Because the reason why I remember this is because Ace said because Blackbeard was under him, he has to take accountability and find Blackbeard. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I remember, because I was like, oh, that's very specific.
Yeah, it is. And Ace has powers. The flame.
Devil fruit.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It is really cool. He's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took out a couple ships, I think.
Before that, it was funny because this whole interaction was funny to me because it was just like one Ace was trying to see Luffy, but then before that, Smoker was also in the same spot and was like, "Oh, well, now that I know Ace is here, I have to take you in."
And you know how it goes. No one captures
he's like, nah.
Yeah, no.
But then he sees Luffy running away because Luffy also encounters Baroque agents. Was it?
Yeah.
Or was it the Marines? One of the two. I can't remember right now. No.
I think it was the Marines. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Alabasta saga, it was very chaotic because you just meet so many people and it just like loops everything in together in kind of like a nice bow.
Yeah. A lot happens, but it also ties
in pretty well. Yeah. Did you like that interaction between Smoker and Ace? Wasn't it really funny?
That was really funny. It's peak.
And I don't know, do you see any like similarities between Ace and Luffy? Because they are so similar in certain aspects that I find it
by the
funny.
End, I kind of noticed it. As in like they do what not just that they do what they want, but they stick to what they want to do.
Yeah. And their appetite is like crazy.
Yes.
Appetite was absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh. And while that was happening, we get a little backstory about Vivi. And you finally because they're traveling to Alabasta.
Yes.
There's a couple panels where it shows like where everyone is and like how it's supposed to like meet up and everything.
I was gonna say they show the map enough that it actually really did help just give me an idea of like where things are happening.
And like it makes sense where like the distance wise too, because when they're talking about like, oh, it'll take you like 4 hours to get here, and you look at the map, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
But you already saw the map prior, and you see like, oh, where they're going, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they're basically in the desert. Yes. So we get Vivi's backstory with Kuza. Kuza's like the lead of the rebellion. Yeah, going against Cobra, which is her dad, King
Cobra.
Yeah, King Cobra, King of Alabasta.
Yeah.
When I first read that and saw that, I was like, wow, that's just crazy.
There's another play, I forgot, or a play on the name too. Or it was like also a big name, but I forgot which one.
Yeah, I forgot which one.
Yeah. But
but yeah, it's just, I think the whole plot to this was just super interesting because you get to see Crocodile, basically the main villain in this arc. How did you feel about him? He was one of the strongest, I think, villains they fought. He had his like former bounty was like 88 million berries, which was double of what, Arlong was.
Yes. I think for once, so I was actually talking to my wife about this, and I think this is the first time now actually reading and paying attention. I think the first arc that actually feels like an arc where the big bad is just the big bad for the
Like
arc,
an
in the
actual
sense that
big bad.
in a sense that okay, like all the other arcs have kind of dealt with introducing a new crewmate or kind of bringing up the past. Like let's say Arlong is really kind of tied to Nami, or like
it was all backstory up
it's
until
always
now, right?
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
been backstory, and it's always this is how we get introduced to new, the new person.
Because you are right. Because Sanji was the same way. And like Mihawk and like Zoro and Chopper and Warpool, whatever his name was, the little tin guy. But like you are right, because Crocodile is just a villain.
A villain.
Like there's no backstory connecting to anyone really.
Even though it leads into like because of his because he's one of the 7 warlords of the sea.
Yeah.
So that does lead into like world building, but
yeah, it does.
But otherwise, it's not like he is not like one of the crewmates, like arch nemesis, or not really arch, but they're
Are
verbal.
you so with the establishment of Crocodile, like what he wanted to do? He basically wanted to take over Alabasta, right?
Yep.
That's like his main purpose in this. Yeah. But are you starting to see the government, the politics, like everything kind of like adding up? Because it shows with Smoker, he's a Marine, right? And the back of his jacket always says justice.
Yeah.
But is it really justice in this case?
I think by the end of the arc, it really just shows there's a lot of gray more than just black and white.
Yeah.
And it shows when his first mate, I forgot, or second command, or the sergeant.
Oh, yeah. What's her name? Like, Tar starts with a T.
I
forget. She's like Zoro's like rival basically.
Yeah. She was like she was shown in the beginning and then shown at the end of the arc, essentially. But I think it was cool that like it starts showing like, oh yeah, the line between pirates and marines was not just drawn like, distinctly. It's actually kind of like
it's
a
kind
gray
of blurred.
area, and it's kind of blurred, and it's like, oh well, Crocodile is technically private, but he now technically would technically follow the government.
Yeah. I mean, he should, because he's
but by the end you start learning, oh, he's just using that as a cover because he built up the Baroque works.
Yeah. And were you ever with the devil fruit? Because I think you mentioned this in the last episode. You were talking about like there's a lot of people that have the devil fruit.
Yeah.
Because you were always like, wow, everyone has some type of weird power that's tied to them. But I think in Alabasta, you're starting to understand that these powers can be binded by the sea prism stone.
Yes.
Which I found really interesting, that Marines that have powers, that have the weapon that has this sea prism, they're not affected by it as much. Did you notice that? Because Smoker had his little like baton thing.
He had his baton. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, what sea prism is like, it's basically a solid form of the ocean, and so these devil fruit people, they can't swim in the ocean. Obviously, they just drown. So it just works the same way when you're like not wet.
Yeah.
Did you like any fights? There were tons of fights in here.
There were so many fights.
There was like lots of 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s.
Yeah.
Did you like, which one was your favorite?
Damn, there's so many. So I think the one that I always go, because he's my favorite. I think he's my favorite Straw Hat crew member is Zoro versus number 1.
Ooh.
Because he had the dice fruit, so he was just like he could make himself into a sword, or his body part. It was kind of weird. It's just steel. Technically it's just steel, but he can make it into a sword, or he can cut stuff and all that. So I just thought that one was cool because it's always Zoro always says these things, and I've noticed it. In that he's like, if only I was. He always if only I was strong enough to blank, and it's always blank. because he's like, if only I was strong enough to just break through this, or if only I was strong enough to do this. And he's like, oh, I could be. He's like, oh, fighting you means I'm strong enough to cut through steel. Like it's always like
he always has to hit something, right?
Something, yeah. It's like the next step or like just the next milestone. And I thought this one was just cool because then it does a quick flashback to like him and his master and like, oh, how to cut everything. When he's starting to notice, he can hear the breathing of like material.
Yeah.
So that way he can either dodge from what I've understood, he can dodge and or cut through easier, quote unquote. Not really cut through, but it's separate. It's
separate.
Separate, yeah.
Are you interested in that?
100%. I have no idea what the hell this means.
You're almost like, are you interested in
like,
that?
Whoa, bro, I need to know this shit. Oh, man.
Did you
so cool.
So like everyone has fights. Even Nami has fights.
Nami had, because that introduced her new weapon. So that
the climate baton.
Okay, because it builds on her expertise of like
the weather,
just predicting or understanding how weather works.
Yeah. Or
just like climate and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. I'd say like I also thought Bon Clay number 2 is hilarious. Oh, from the beginning though, I thought he was really funny. Like
Mr. Chu is so funny.
Mr. Chu's so funny.
Yeah, Bon Clay's my favorite.
Yeah, he's so funny.
That was my favorite fight, actually.
That was yours.
Okay,
his was up there. I think he was probably second or third because for me, Nami's and Sanji's were like kind of close, right?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I thought Nami's was kind of cooler because it finally just gave her a power up in a sense, but because it just built on her skill. While like Bon Clay versus Sanji was just cool. It was just really cool. And also in this arc, it just shows how strong Sanji is.
Oh,
period.
Yeah.
Just period. Like right now, to me, the power is like, you see the power dynamic. And you mentioned this early on where it's like the big 3 in here is actually like Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Zolo.
No, Zoro. No, Sanji's my favorite because I was reading back to this. And I didn't realize it until this time around that he only fights with his feet because he's a cook.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
Wait.
I was like the second time reading this, I was like, oh shit. Of course, I would catch this now.
No, they said that from the beginning.
They did, but I didn't like really
but it didn't like click.
Like
right?
it didn't click.
Like how much like he
it's
really
Sanji.
doesn't use his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that fight was cool. I think, but it was just funny how afterwards, like Bon Clay becomes there. He's like all about friendship, like legitimately, and it still sticks. And I'm like, wow, that's consistent.
No, it's pretty really consistent.
Good. Yes, I was like,
and I love that Bon Clay is, especially in like the state that we're living in. He's like a they them technically. He's not. Yeah,
that's right.
Like,
yes,
because he doesn't go by a gender. He's just like, oh, I'm a man. Sometimes I'm a woman. Sometimes
because it's, and when you're reading it back then, it's because to me when I remember hearing that, but it made sense to me as a kid even because to me he had the clone fruit, which after a while you could get confused. Like I took it as after a while, why does it matter? Because you could change into anything, right? Yeah. But
no, he did.
It was progressive without like.
It wasn't like pushing the idea like on us.
But it's just like now you can actually like just put that into something. But even back then, I even just think like, oh, after a while you could just turn into whatever it does, just kind of blur the line. So it's just like, yeah.
And I think what you said earlier, especially about like power ups and like how like you said Zoro, he was like, oh, I need to be like here every time. But with Sanji, every time Bon Clay was Nami, Sanji was so scared of hitting him.
Yeah, but he was smart enough to notice that the moment he doesn't attack, and I had to go back and make sure. Yeah, I went back and made sure on every time he didn't attack, his face would go back to normal. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. It does just go back. Whoa, that's detail. Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Because in animation, it's in anime, it's kind of easier to do that. It's
No,
you
it
get to
is.
see it.
You
Well,
get to
like
see it,
because
yeah.
in panels it could be like a really small section, and it's like, oh yeah, his face.
Or
did
it's
go
like an
back.
eye shift even,
Yeah,
especially with
yeah,
Bon Clay. Yeah.
yeah. Like
And I think okay, so let's talk about Luffy versus Crocodile because this happened twice.
3 times? No,
No,
3
three
times.
times. Yeah, three times. Yeah. At any point were you scared for Luffy? Like at
No.
any point in
No,
this?
because One Piece is at 1,000 chapters. No, I'm not.
Well, I mean,
But
I think if One Piece was to end right here with Crocodile killing Luffy the first time, I would have been super shocked.
because wait, how did he do it the first time? It was
the hook. He
the
like
hook?
hooked him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That panel
In the chest.
That
Yeah.
panel, I was like, oh shoot, this, and I had to actually look it up because this is when I actually just straight up stopped and like looked up like scenes, because if you just search it up, it is one of the top
No, it's one of the top scenes.
one of the top scenes, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, that is cool. Let's see, I wasn't worried, but it was like one of those, is he actually gonna beat him, or is this just gonna be one of those power friendship type shit?
No,
At
but
the
he,
end,
like-
by the end, but
Yeah.
but each time it just shows like Luffy does not
I
care.
know. Yeah.
Or
No,
he's
but
willing
yeah,
to do. He's
he's-
willing to do whatever for his friends.
No, yeah. And I think I know you've always said that the charm of Luffy is kind of stupid. No, it is. Up to this point, I think Alabasta took a turn in where his true stance is of being a pirate and of being a friendship. Because I know we always joke about like, oh, friendship this, friendship that in anime, but in One Piece, like, it matters.
But like, so the difference is, okay, right now to me, the difference is this versus Fairy Tail, right? Let's say Fairy Tail,
I've
power
never watched Fairy
friendship,
Tail, so you're
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to. It's fine because at the end of the day, it's like the issue is they split up, but they kind of deal with their stuff, but they can't fully finish until they all group together.
Yeah.
And this one, yeah, they group together, but Luffy's drive is friendship. It's not like he needs his friends to help him beat someone. Well,
Yeah.
like, it's not like they have to do one big attack that's a combination with each other every freaking time. It's what I'm
They
trying to
can
say.
be alone. They can be alone and fight.
Like they can
Yeah.
take on their, like, it was cool to see like each fight, it just shows winner and you see like their names. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they did. They won. Duh.
Yeah.
But it was just like cool, like just established, right? So,
But yeah, I
but-
think
you're right. The friendship part is, to me, is twist. Like the reasoning is different. Like it's his drive
Oh,
versus
yeah.
the reason why he wins.
and I think that's what drove Vivi to like save her town.
Yep.
Because if you notice, Luffy was like, "I'm quitting. I don't want to do this." In the middle of the desert, he was like, "Yeah, I'm done." And I think we're really starting to see that Luffy, he's not that stupid.
He's not.
He's not too naive anymore. I don't think. Like he
No.
understands.
Or, because that was like the one moment where even out, yeah, because everyone was like, he at times, yes, he is the voice of reason, oddly,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's true. That's weird, but yes, I agree with
Yeah.
him.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about Chopper and Usopp because
The fight or
their
yeah.
fight, because I feel like the pairing for this fight was perfect because you have Mr. Four,
Which
Mr.
now
Four's
makes sense.
dog, yeah,
Like he yells 4. I was like, oh,
he is Four, yeah.
he's
And
God.
then Miss Merry Christmas, who is a mole, like the.
yeah, yeah, yep.
I was just laughing the entire time reading that fight because I'm like, oh my gosh, you have like two of the scary cats fighting like two people that could probably beat their ass.
100%.
Yeah.
They were. But if
they were
anything, I was more
outsmarted.
worried how they were. I thought they were just gonna get saved, but they did it.
No, they did it.
They did it. So see, when you're asked to answer your question, I wasn't even worried about Luffy. I was more worried about this fight.
You were more worried about like
This is the
Chopper
fight
and
where I
Usopp.
was like, they're gonna get like just wrecked. Like, oh god,
I know because
they won't die, but they're gonna die. Like, like.
I mean, they were semi-wrecked, but I think Chopper really helped out.
So, I think
Chopper-
my one thing I've noticed is with Usopp, he always wants. He has to have. he's the biggest scaredy cat, and I think I would like to think, don't, this is just me projecting or predicting.
Yeah.
Because he's always had this thing where he always ends up running away, but then he turns back and said, "No, I will take this, and I will just take all the punches and everything, right?
Yeah.
And actually, but stand my ground because no one messes with my friends." So I get we've understood what he values.
Yeah.
But it's just like it takes a while for him to like warm up.
Yeah, that's the great phrase. He needs a big warm up sometimes.
After getting his ass beat, like pummeled to almost
to the
death,
ground. Yeah.
But he gets scary. But I'm guessing he gets not a power boost, but this pushes him
a drive. He gets a drive.
The drive becomes bigger.
Yeah.
I would assume. But that's just my guess, and he's gonna become badass because of it. Because right now I think he's like the most. I said Luffy annoys me with like his stupidity. I think Usopp's character annoys me
like,
right now, but I'm like,
yeah.
but I'm holding back because I'm like, I'm guessing he gets better. There's something because everyone has gone through like a metamorphosis sometimes or multiple.
Yeah.
And did it once.
Is One Piece. So.
He's done it once in his thing. Actually, yes, we got 1,000 chapters total. I'm expecting like Super Saiyan like 7 at this point. So here we are.
That's so funny. Yeah, we meet a lot of characters. Cobra has like basically 2 people he really trusts. So Pell the Falcon.
Or 2 right now because the main one was actually I forgot his name all of a sudden. I can never. Yes. Igraham or something.
Igraham.
Oh my god.
Something like that, yeah. But Pell the Falcon and Chaka the Jackal were introduced. And I thought they were pretty cool. I thought did you like Pell the Falcon's
Ingraham. Yeah, it is
power?
Ingraham. Or Igraham.
Igraham?
No, there's not an H. It's just Igraham.
Igraham? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought Pell, when I first watched this, I thought Pell the Falcon was really cool. Like the transformation and like.
Though and I'm paying attention because I know how long this goes. He says 5 flying fruits.
Yeah. Wow, you're paying attention. So Crocodile. Interesting enough, we're gonna get to what Crocodile truly wants. It's not the city that he wants. Like, he wants to rule the city, but that's not his main concern.
What he actually wants allows him to rule the city.
Yeah.
Essentially.
What he really wants was the Pluton.
Yes.
Which is like this like device that like can basically blow up an entire island.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It has the power to blow up an island, essentially.
Yeah. And he also, on top of that, wants the Pongriff? Pongriff?
I don't know how to say it.
I can never
either.
say that. But this is where it gets interesting because he needs Robin to read this.
Yeah,
it's
so
basically
Miss Sunday.
Miss Sunday.
Miss All Sunday,
Robin.
yes.
Miss All Sunday Robin. Because this item is like a record of history. Right?
But it was because he was hoping that it reveals where the Pluton.
Yeah, where the Pluton is. But there's a lot of like mystery still behind Robin, because I think, were you ever noticing like why Robin was there? Because they showed a little bit about her powers, and like not even her backstory yet.
It was like a quick aside to like why people know of her and why she is important in terms of power.
Yeah.
Because at like a young age, she already accumulated.
She got a
like,
bounty at a young.
I think it was like 70 mil.
Yeah.
Yes, or 80, almost 80 mil, or something like that.
Yeah. And it's
sinking 6 warships. I remember.
Could be a rumor.
Yeah, no, I was like, I wonder. That obviously, I'm like, there's bits and pieces that are missing, so we'll get the full story later.
Yeah.
But I did wonder because she helped Luffy straight up, but she knows about the Will of D. So I was like, oh,
does.
okay, there's an important thing on this one.
It is. How do you feel? Okay, so we're getting to the end where like basically Vivi saves her country.
Dude, that was the entire way.
Was that
I
like
will say
crazy?
the part because the arc is long, because the whole Alabasta thing. I remember it being long in anime already, so reading.
I think
was like,
this is the longest arc you've read. I think.
Yeah, this is the longest one.
Yeah,
for sure. And I will be on. Like initially, it was kind of slow because I was like, okay, they had to like the classic. Oh, we gotta get to the point. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta get to the villain. Blah blah blah. But they got to Crocodile much faster because they got
then
captured
you remembered.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they just went to the casino. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But the pacing, like, it got super suspenseful as it went on, and even like just the countdown. I was like, wait, this is like, I was like, oh my god, I gotta keep going, gotta keep reading.
There were like 4 hours left.
Yeah,
And they were like, the rebellions are here.
Yeah, the bomb will go off in 30 minutes. I was like, oh god, it is 24 minutes. I was like, oh god.
Man, I think you have to watch the episode where Vivi screams and like saves
I remember
her
it
country.
being I remember being super like emotional, like watching it, or like just like it's an emotional moment. So I do vaguely remember that when I first watched it.
Yeah, it was crazy, and obviously everyone was like exhausted.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I do want to watch the fights on this one. Like this is like the first. I was like, ooh, this one's good. Or if anything, I might just like speed watch this one. Because this one was good.
How did you feel about Smoker leaving Luffy there?
Because he already asked at the cell, right? He already asked what they know because that's his way of checking how are they really with Crocodile or are they just here?
Yeah.
And he figures out they're not. So him leaving, I was like, oh, he's gonna go do something else. Like not just leave, but he's actually gonna go find something else. And of course, just to find out, he found the ship that I forgot if it makes the rain powder or something, or the rain dance.
Yeah, I think the rain dance. Yeah.
Rain dance.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell it is.
Absorbs the water. That's why Alabasta is so dry. Yeah.
But he found a ship. Meanwhile, the sergeant is supposed to take in Crocodile. Yeah. Which he does because Luffy beat him. But I thought it was cool.
But they took.
Shush. They know it too.
Yeah.
They know it too. They know.
And obviously this goes back to like, Marines are always supposed to capture pirates, but I feel like
let
they
the public
can't,
know.
Yeah. That Luffy is good in a sense like, what justice really is.
Because the war government, it's like the war government won't allow it. And this is where I was like, this is where it truly shows the lines are blurred. Because even like the sergeant or Tashigi,
right? Tashigi? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tashigi, yeah.
The sergeant was like, she starts questioning what justice, because he even told her, just do whatever kind of justice you want to carry out. And it's like either help the Straw Hats or help the, all that. Taking the Straw Hats or blah, blah, blah. But even she questions it. You could tell she starts questioning it a whole lot.
Because I feel like with Luffy, whoever he encounters, he has this like charm to pull them in. Like when he was asking, what's her name? Tashigi?
Yeah.
Like where Crocodile was. He didn't even care that she was a Marine.
Nope. He just asked where.
Like he was just like, where is he? Like I just want to know where he is. I think Luffy has always had that pull on people, and I think that's why the Marines have a hard time, especially Smoker.
Yeah.
Have a hard time like capturing him.
Yeah. But it's like even for her, it's like in that moment, it's like the pirates asking me, a Marine, where the hell Crocodile is, and because at this point she knows that Crocodile's bad, but why is a pirate going to find Croc? It's like it flips the whole world on its upside down.
Like, it's pretty backwards, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
You're starting to realize it's pretty backwards, yeah.
But then the world government's willing to, bestow them
hide it. Yeah.
Hide it So there's, and I'm like, oh, how much more is orchestrated, right? Because if they're controlling 7 warlords, quote unquote, then what else is being controlled, right?
Ooh, you're asking some good questions here. Wow. I won't say anything. But
Please don't.
but oh yeah. Let's talk about this friendship. Cuz remember early on they wore bandages and an X on their hand.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how you thought this was early on for you, right? Cuz you remembered it. Was it too early on? Cuz then there's like a famous scene.
No. Not too early.
Not too early.
Not too early. It's the one where they hold their hands up.
Yeah,
I've seen that on posters. I've seen that at conventions. I've seen it everywhere.
You've seen it everywhere. Yeah.
And I just knew it was famous. But the thing is, I saw that so many years ago when I was like essentially a kid. I didn't even process that that's how early on they showed it. And I didn't realize it. So yeah, jumping ahead, like everything's all done, and they think they're gonna pick up Vivi at the end, but then they can't associate with her. But they tell, because they're all aware of what that means. They held up their hand, and I was like, "Ooh, I got chills," because now I remember what that meant.
Friendship.
And I forgot how early on it happened. So
pretty early on.
But
I was very emotional about Vivi. Yeah.
No, me too. Because it was like, I remember the whole buildup was, oh, she's gonna go. She's gonna go. She's gonna go.
Yeah.
But probably not. But maybe not, but she is.
Yeah.
But then she like meets up at the location and eventually sets up this whole thing where she's supposed to give a speech but not there, just to not be there. And
but
just
she
to tell
still
them.
makes her speech.
Yeah. Because snails are a thing. Okay, that's a whole nother.
Snails are like, yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
We're talking about One Piece here, so it's weird.
Yeah, I'm accepting it. I'm accepting it. At first I was confused, but he did give kind of explanation. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you know, you know.
But yeah, no, she essentially sees them off personally, and it's like the most like emotional ending ever.
Send off, yeah.
It's it's huge send off, and it was great. I was like, oh wow. I just didn't realize, like, watching it then was like, oh damn, that sucks, but that's awesome. But then now reading it years later, I'm like, damn, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
Can we just count how many devil fruits we've encountered in just this one freaking arc?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, so what was it? So essentially,
Sir Crocodile.
Sir Crocodile has Sand.
Bon Clay, Clone. Ace, Flame.
Flame.
Yeah, Pell, the tweet fruit Falcon type. Yeah, it's just
That means there's others, right? So that's all I'm saying. But that's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. Then the Jackal, right?
Yeah, the Jackal was one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot which one. Miss Mary, the mole, Miss Merry Christmas. Yeah. Miss Golden Finger, Spike, Mr. One, Dice, Black Cage, Hina, which is another government.
That's a whole other thing we're gonna
That's a whole
touch
other
on
thing
again.
we'll probably touch on. Yeah.
Really quick.
She got the binding. So that's 9. Oh wait, no, Robin.
Robin
the
has
flower.
the flower. Yeah, I forgot. It wasn't just like a flower. It was just flower.
No,
right?
it's just a flower. Yeah. Mr. Four's dog.
That was the one I was like.
The
mutt fruit. I was like, what is going on?
Because objects that don't breathe.
Inanimate
objects can eat devil fruits.
But they questioned it. They're like, how does that work? I'm like, yeah, how does that work? They touch on it really quick. Then she's like, I'm not going to explain this to you. I'm like, or you could. For me.
Yeah. That's 11.
Holy shit.
If you want to count Smoker, that's 12 because Smoker has.
Yeah, and then you also see number 3 with the whole wax.
Yeah. So that's 13 encountered that we could count of. That's a lot.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
There's so much happening. I was like, oh my goodness.
let's actually talk about that Navy captain.
Can we also, before we even have to talk about that, the two under her
are crazy.
No, it's the Hypno guy, and then the one
Yeah.
and then the guy that went against Sanji. Right?
Yeah, in his arc, yeah.
Yeah, in his arc. It's just like I didn't process how far along that happened.
They're crazy.
But because the cover chapters just showed the story of happening, right? Theirs ended, but then they started talking about the other fishman guy. But then they finally just brought that up. I was like, if I didn't pay attention, I would not have known how they met.
Yeah.
I was like, I would not have understood. Yeah. And I know you mentioned it, and I was already kind of paying attention, but I was like, ooh, it really does just.
It just clicks.
You gotta read those. You gotta just look at those chapter covers. I know.
And Hina talking in third person.
I also noticed that.
Every time cracks me up. She just cracks me up.
So yeah, Smoker and her like are tight, I guess.
She's a hoot. I will just.
She's funny.
End it at that. All right. She's so funny.
But she's so cool too. Like.
Yeah, the bind fruit.
It's interesting.
Yeah, super interesting.
But they introduced her, so I was like, okay, there's a lot more marine people we're gonna learn or meet. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is where the politics really starts, and you kind of just see.
Also. I did notice in one of the covers, because they were dancing. They dance a lot. It's really funny.
Yeah, they do.
Those two. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny.
What's the kid's name from the very beginning? The Marine kid with glasses.
Oh,
I forgot his
Kobe.
name. Also. Kobe.
Yeah.
You see him and the other guy's son like walking by and passing. I was like, wait, this guy that's them, right? Because they look old. They look bigger.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all I'm gonna say too. I'm curious.
But yeah, the arc's ending, right?
Yeah.
How? Of course, there's gonna be a bounty increase.
Yes. Can I say that this is a very good use of power levels?
It is, because now Zoro is at 60 million berries and Luffy is at 100 million berries.
60?
Zoro's at 60.
Zoro's at 60?
Now at the end of Alabasta.
I thought, was it 60? I thought it was 80 for some reason.
Is it 80?
You might be right. No.
Okay. And Luffy's at 100. You can.
Yeah, Luffy was at 100. I was like, oh my, because it hits because Crocodile was like what, 80 something?
88 only.
Yeah. So I was like.
But this increase is because, one, he saved a country from Crocodile, right? He defeated Crocodile. He went against the Baroque crew.
Yeah.
So I think this increase was justified.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was 60.
It was 60. Okay.
Yeah.
And funny enough, Robin wants to join Luffy's crew, and that's where we end Alabasta.
Yeah. She stowed away at the bottom.
Yeah, she did.
But asked to join.
She asked to join. He didn't ask her.
Yes.
Because up to this point, he has always asked. But Robin was like, no, I want to join.
At this point, I don't remember, and we'll watch. We'll find it next time. My bet is he does not want her to join.
Okay.
But that's my bet right now.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Curious? Oh, yeah.
I am curious on one thing. Why is it only Zoro and Luffy?
I think it's because the others aren't that well known yet.
Okay.
Because Zoro was a former pirate bounty hunter. Yes. And Luffy's a pirate.
Yes.
So it's just like, I feel like up to this point, Nami, Usopp, Chopper, they're not too well known. Yeah. They haven't disrupted this world yet.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. They were just there. But they don't have that. Okay. Because I was kind of curious on that one. I was like, yeah.
And plus, Luffy is Ace's brother. And so I think that really upped his bounty. Do you think the world knows that Ace and Luffy know each other?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Does Ace have D in his name?
I don't know. We'll see.
I was like, I could just Google, but you know what? You're right.
No.
I could just read.
No,
I could just read.
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd you feel about Alabasta? We are at a point where you have no idea
After this, I have no idea what's
gonna
going
happen.
It was a lot, but it was like
Yeah, it was a lot.
A lot in a good way, where I had a lot of fun reading it. It was paced really well. A lot of I think it was like the most suspenseful arc in a while.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it kept leading up to like, we had to meet up here, but like, or people got broken up here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was good.
It was good,
fun.
yeah.
It was a lot more fun than I remember. Not saying I didn't like it before, but it just way more stuff now. I was like, that I'm actually paying attention. I was like, oh, yeah, this is good. This is fun.
Is there anything that you're super, super, super curious about? Like, so curious that you want to just continue to the next arc?
What was it? Overall, no, I guess not.
Not yet.
Again, it's just like more like where the characters, I guess overall where the characters are gonna go in terms of like how they develop. But that's right now. That's it.
Okay.
But also, I guess I want to see more warlords too.
Oh yeah, Crocodile's the only one you know.
That's the only one that we've seen out of the 7, and he's done now. So there's 6
he's
left.
Captured. Yeah.
No, they she essentially revoked his title or something.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. I feel like now you're in the dark, and I'm about to just have fun.
You're just gonna have fun watching me
read whatever it is we're about to read.
Yup.
But do you have anything else? I thought this was a really good arc rereading it. It was super good.
It's fun. A lot of action.
It was condensed into like this arc, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it was good. I love just, asking you questions about One Piece.
I know. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you just
fun for
bring
me
up
too.
so many good questions that you have to wait.
But how long?
Hey, well, however long it takes, because now you're committed.
I know. I am committed.
But yeah, that's all I have. I don't know if you have anything else.
No.
Yeah. Alabasta was a fun ride.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. Logo's above Harrison's head. He'll be pointing because I always point to the wrong direction. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload. And subscribe. Big red buttons below me. Like buttons below me. Bells below me. Comment below us. Yeah. And let us know how we're doing. What do you want to see next? If you really enjoy this One Piece journey, because it's sticking.
Let us know. And I may read faster. Who knows?
I mean, if you're curious enough, you might have to just read the next arc.
Yeah, you're right, though.
But yeah, let us know how we're doing. What do you want to see next? What do you want us to read, review, watch, play? Because I play games now, surprisingly. But just anime games, not like Destiny or anything. Or like
somewhere else.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you, Monday. Bye-bye.
I mean, it is Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, it's not.